At what age do wives cheat the most? Let me ask you a question most men don't even want to think about. Not if cheating happens, not why it happens, but when it happens most. Because here's the uncomfortable truth. Infidelity is not random. It follows patterns, predictable seasons, predictable emotional climates. And if you understand those seasons, you start seeing relationship danger years before it arrives. Most men think the danger period is the famous 7-year itch, but the data says something far more unsettling. The real danger doesn't hit at 7 years. It hits around year 9. And what happens to many marriages between years 8 and 10 is something most men never see coming. Today we're talking about the real timeline of infidelity, the emotional storms that build quietly, and the ages when wives are statistically most likely to step outside the marriage. Stay with me, because the last part of this video might change how you see long-term relationships forever. The myth of the 7-year itch. We've all heard it. 7 years in, boredom hits, passion fades, people stray. Sounds neat, sounds simple, sounds believable. But real life is messier than romantic myths. When researchers actually studied marital satisfaction and divorce trends, they discovered something unexpected. Relationship satisfaction doesn't crash at year 7, it drops hardest around year 9. This is known as the end-of-decade phenomenon. And once you understand why, things start making sense in a way that's both fascinating and a little unsettling. Year 9 is where the illusion of the relationship often dies. The honeymoon phase is long gone, the novelty is gone, the new life excitement is gone, and what's left is reality, routine, responsibilities, bills, kids, career stress, predictability. For many couples, this is the first time they quietly ask themselves, is this it? And that question is dangerous. Because dissatisfaction rarely explodes overnight. It builds slowly, silently, invisibly, until one day someone new walks into their life and offers what feels like oxygen. The ages ending in 9 effect. Here's where things get really interesting. Researchers studying human behavior found a strange psychological pattern. People are more likely to make big life decisions at ages ending in 9, 29, 30, 31, and 32. Why? Because these ages psychologically feel like the end of an era. It's the moment before a new decade begins. And when people approach a new decade, they start auditing their lives. They start asking dangerous questions. Am I happy? Did I choose the right partner? Is this the life I imagined? Is it too late to change? This is called the last chance mindset. And this mindset has been linked to spikes in divorce, career changes, affairs, major life reinventions, because when someone feels time moving fast, they start chasing feelings they think they missed. So, at what age do wives cheat the most? Now let's talk specifically about women. Research shows that women report the highest levels of infidelity between ages 35 and 39, and again between ages 50 and 69. Let that sink in. Not in their 20s, not early in the relationship, but midlife. And this shocks many men, because by this point, most men think the relationship is safe, stable, settled, secure. But emotionally, this period can be one of the most turbulent times in a woman's life. Why the mid-30s are a major danger zone. The mid-30s are what psychologists call the identity checkpoint. By this age, many women have been in the relationship for years, possibly had children, built routines around family life, and sacrificed parts of their personal identity. And one day, quietly, a question appears. Who am I outside of being a wife and mother? This isn't rebellion. This isn't evil. This is identity reawakening. Many women hit a point where they realize their youth feels behind them, their life feels structured, their identity feels reduced to roles. And when identity feels lost, emotional hunger begins. And emotional hunger is where affairs often begin. Because women don't typically cheat out of boredom alone. They cheat when they feel unseen, unappreciated, unvalued, and emotionally disconnected. And if another man enters her life offering attention, listening, validation, and excitement, it doesn't feel like betrayal. It feels like rediscovering herself. That's the part many men misunderstand. Why female infidelity is rising. Historically, men cheated more. According to the General Social Survey, around 20% of men report cheating and around 13% of women report cheating. But among younger generations, the gap is shrinking fast. Why? Because the world changed. Women now have financial independence, career opportunities, social freedom, and digital access to new connections. In the past, dissatisfaction didn't always lead to cheating, sometimes because women simply had fewer options. Today, options are everywhere. Social media, work environments, old flames reconnecting online, private messaging apps. Opportunity has exploded. And opportunity plus emotional dissatisfaction equals risk. The emotional versus physical cheating difference. Most men cheat for variety. Most women cheat for connection. That difference is crucial. A man may cheat and still feel emotionally committed to his partner. A woman usually cheats after emotional detachment has already begun. The affair is often the symptom, not the cause. By the time the affair happens, the emotional gap may have existed for years, silently growing, unspoken, ignored. The second peak, ages 50 to 69. This surprises men even more. There's another spike in female infidelity later in life. Why? Because this stage often brings empty nest syndrome, aging anxiety, mortality awareness, reflection on life choices. Many women ask, is this the last chapter of my story? And when people feel time shrinking, they crave aliveness, excitement, passion, novelty, attention, not because they want to destroy their marriage, but because they want to feel alive again. The real lesson men need to hear. This video isn't about fear, it's about awareness. Infidelity rarely comes out of nowhere. It grows in emotional silence. It grows in routine, in disconnection, in taken-for-granted love. The biggest mistake men make is believing stability equals security. Relationships don't fail because love disappears. They fail because attention disappears, effort disappears, curiosity disappears, emotional intimacy disappears. And when those things disappear, someone else can step in and provide them. The question isn't really, at what age do wives cheat the most? The deeper question is, at what stage do relationships become emotionally neglected? Because that's where the real danger lives. And the men who understand this early protect their relationships long before crisis ever arrives. If this video gave you a new perspective, hit the like button so more men can see it. Share this with someone who thinks long-term relationships run on autopilot. And subscribe if you want real, honest conversations about relationships, masculinity, and emotional intelligence, without the sugarcoating. Because the strongest men aren't the ones who avoid hard truths, they're the ones who face them early.